What is high-ticket dropshipping? Well, high-ticket dropshipping is this really simple business model where you just take expensive products from well-known name brands and you put them on a website and you market them online and sell them. And then when you get a sale, you send the purchase order to that brand of which you have an agreement with, that's known as an authorized dealer agreement. And they're gonna invoice you for the dealer costs of the product while you sold it at the MAP price, which MAPs means minimum advertised price, or, other words, a sale price that they, agree upon that you can sell it at. And you keep the difference. And usually the margins are like 15 all the way up to 30%, sometimes more. Sometimes it can be less too. It really depends on shipping costs and taxes and other things like that. You'll figure that stuff out as you go into this. But high ticket dropshipping is really simple in the fact that you can make more money per sale. So the average order value, instead of being like $100 or $200, like that range, you're looking at $1,000 to $2,000, maybe higher. Okay, so high ticket dropshipping, instead of making like $20 to $40 per sale, you're gonna be making $200 to $400 per sale, which is a huge difference, because when you get a sale and you make $300 in profit after everything's said and done, and you get points from using a business credit card to purchase cost of goods sold and spend money on ads and software and stuff like that, you can have a really profitable business with only maybe 10 or 20, 30 orders per month. And if you can scale it up past that, 50 to 100 orders per month, you can have an insanely profitable business. Now, it does come with some caveats, and that is, number one, there is higher risk involved, because when there is an order defect, like let's say shipping damage, or the order is not delivered correctly, or the customer is not satisfied with the order, you're gonna end up having to deal with that. And sometimes, rarely it happens, but sometimes there's disputes, credit card chargebacks that happen. And because they're such high ticket orders, those huge disputes, it can take up to 30 to 60 days to resolve. And sometimes the banks side with the customer, even though they should side with you. So sometimes those high ticket disputes can really eat away at your margins and your cash flow. So it does come with a little bit higher risk, but that also means that as long as you're responsible and you do your work as a high ticket salesperson and you handle customer service well, you go back and forth properly and communicate between the customer and the supplier, and you also know the niche and the products very well in the way so that you can help the customer to understand the products, you should do just fine. Like a lot of the time, little shipping damage issues and product defect issues can just be fixed by setting it up correctly, or maybe making a little tweak here and there. And if you know the products really well already and have a lot of experience, you'll be able to offer that advice to the customer so that they're going to easily be able to fix the issue on their end. Otherwise, they'll have to take it to a service center of some sort, or get somebody to come out to their house to fix the product. A lot of times these high ticket products, especially the really high ticket ones, actually require somebody to come to the customer's home or business and actually install or set up the product for them. And that's what's known as white glove delivery. Sometimes they're so complex, these products, that actually requires that to happen. So you'll have to coordinate between the white glove delivery company, if it's a third party company, or the supplier might even just work directly with them. Every niche is different, okay? So you're just gonna be diving way more into not just the sales side of it and the marketing side of it, but also the customer support side and the fulfillment side of things. The supplier is gonna help you a lot with fulfillment, like they're inventorying the products. They actually warehouse and ship them and all that stuff. But you're gonna have to do the back end work of communication to ensure delivery is completed and that the customer is satisfied. And if you do a really good job with it and you get a lot of customer reviews, especially on third party platforms, it's gonna boost your website really well, and you're going to get a lot of free traffic through organic rankings. And that's really the goal at the end of the day, is to get free traffic, because free traffic with high ticket sales equals a ton of profit. And also that makes your job way more worth it, because it's going to make you, way more money. So the biggest difference between this business model and other dropshipping business models really is that authorized dealer agreement you have with the brand. Okay, other dropshipping business models, you're mostly selling generic products that are lower priced and sourcing them through dropshipping suppliers like AliExpress, or maybe Zendrop, or CJ Dropshipping, or Doba. Other suppliers maybe through SaleWho, or there's a lot of dropshipping, suppliers out there, a lot of drop shipping directories. And mostly what you're going to be selling through them is generic products, so unbranded products. But sometimes they are going to have brands that you can connect with. Like on the dropshipping directory inventory source, for example, there's a lot of distributors there, and the distributors sell name brands. And so because the distributors sell multiple brands, you're going to have an authorized dealer agreement and map agreement signed with each specific brand that requires that to happen through that distributor. So even though you get access to the distributor, doesn't mean that you automatically get access to their entire catalog. You still have to sign agreements with those brands that require agreements to be signed, because they want to be able to manage their dealer base and make sure that there's no shady business going on, and no shady marketing techniques either. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That authorized dealer agreement is really essential because it's going to give you access to the brand's return policy, your ability to actually send returns directly back to the supplier instead of having to take them back yourself. Because imagine you sell a $2,000 or $3,000 product and it's a big product. What happens when the customer wants to return it, and on your website it shows, you accept returns in 14 days or 30 days or 90 days, whatever you happen to have on your website? Well, you have to accept that product back. Are you going to accept it back to your house? Are you going to send it to like a warehouse that you have somewhere? Or, you really want to work with the supplier, right? Obviously. Now, suppliers usually are going to charge return shipping. They're going to charge a restocking fee. So there is a whole reverse logistics involved in high ticket dropshipping. It's more complex because the products are usually bigger and more expensive. So just keep that in mind. But the authorized dealer agreement usually gives you access to the supplier's return policy. You just want to make sure, every supplier is different. So you want to make sure that that supplier has a return policy. And if they don't, or if it excludes certain products, like a lot of suppliers, if they make custom products and it takes them like 30, 45 days to, fulfill it because it's custom built every time it's ordered, they're not going to have a return available, for that product. Like you can't return it. It's unreturnable. A lot, like for example, in the medical niche, a lot of products have a no return policy just because once they're used and opened, it's already been kind of consumed and you cannot return it after that. Okay. So anyways, just make sure that you get that authorized dealer agreement. It's going to give you access to return policy. It's also going to give you access to the warranty policy, which is also key, because if a product arrives and it doesn't work and it's a high ticket product, there can be big issues. Obviously the customer has the product, but it doesn't work. So they can still file a chargeback and say that the product is unacceptable. And you're going to have to then go back and forth with the supplier and see, okay, what makes it unacceptable? Is it just one little part that we can send out, have it replaced and all that? Or, is it the whole product doesn't work because of something? Or is there just shipping damage that makes it so that it's completely unrepairable? So that whole process has to be dealt with. But luckily, authorized dealer agreements usually always give you access to the warranty policy, but you have to make sure that's very clear on your website what the warranty policy is, what you cover and what you don't. Usually like replacement parts are covered, but labor to replace those parts is not covered, right? But the customer, they might not know that, okay? So you have to also work into your marketing. Like I usually always set up separate email flows when a customer orders a product for each particular brand we have on the website. As soon as they order the product from that brand, we send them that brand's return policy, warranty policy, shipping policy, all that stuff, just so that they are aware of it and that, we aren't assuming they already read it on our website. When a customer places an order on your website, they are accepting your terms and conditions. So everything should be under your terms and conditions and or linked from your terms and conditions on your website, which is important. But you still need to make the customer aware. It's a really good idea also to follow up every order with a phone call and just get in communication with the customer, say hi, establish a friendship relationship, and make sure that they know that if anything happens, they can call you or text you directly instead of just having to sit and email and wait. Because a lot of customers, when they buy expensive stuff, they want to be able to talk to someone on the phone. It's kind of like a value add. So just make sure with high ticket dropshipping and high ticket sales is that a huge portion of your value add. And you have to add value to this business. That's one of the main things. But a huge portion of that is just talking to people on the phone when they call. So answer the phone, or have a receptionist answer the phone to screen the calls so that if anything comes that's spam or like a marketing agency trying to sell services, they can screen that call and then only the important ones come to you. That's what I do. But if you are just running it by yourself, just take the call, and if something comes in with spam or whatever, just decline and hang up. It doesn't really hurt to talk to someone on the phone. Sometimes you're going to have people that are upset. Things happen. You just have to have some empathy for them and understand, what's going on in their life. And it's all good. Like, that's just deal with it. Take care of the customer. Sometimes you have to eat shipping costs. Sometimes you have to eat restocking fees. Sometimes you have to, just lose profit on an order to take care of a customer. But you just have to have that long-term mindset. to know that in the future, number one, you're not going to get a bad review because you did take care of the customer. So you're kind of buying a positive review and or no negative review online by taking care of that customer and losing a little bit of profit. But the other thing, obviously, is that those people will actually like you at that point. So they're more likely to refer you to their friends. So you're like, hey, I dealt with this website. Actually, I bought a product off this website. They actually really took care of me, even though something went wrong. It was really good. And so you can actually ask people that had a bad experience and you made up for it to leave you a positive review in exchange, and that works really well too. But just at the end of the day, make sure you're always following up with people as soon as they get their order delivered by phone call and email. Just say, hey, how's it going? I saw your order was delivered. Just want to make sure everything's good. And then I would say, especially you have experience in skill set in the niche and you have a lot of passion for it, ask them questions about their life. Ask them questions about their, how their life and associated with the product that they purchased, and just build that relationship, because you never know who you're talking to. Sometimes you'll be talking to a business owner or somebody who has a position at a government agency, somewhere where they're in a position to place multiple orders with you over time and bulk orders. And just by you building a relationship with that person, you'll be able to secure your spot as someone in their mind, as someone they want to do business with, as opposed to the person that didn't do that. Okay, so dive into your business. High-ticket dropshipping is not meant to be a passive income business. It's meant to be a very active income business, but it's really good income if you do it right. And it's a lot of fun too, because you're dealing with a large consumer base, business to business, business to government, all that stuff. So if you know your products really well, you'll do really well with this business. Okay, so just get to know your products, get to know your suppliers, and then in the long run, you can look into doing a high-ticket direct-to-consumer brand instead of just doing dropshipping of other brands. Once you build up the capital reserves and all that stuff, you can build your own brand. You can, get a warehouse space, or use a, third-party fulfillment center. Ship, bring it in from China in pallets or containers, whatever, sell it on Amazon, even sell it in your own store, ship it out, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's what high-ticket dropshipping is. Let's just go over a few niche examples. Some really popular niches are saunas, home gyms, ice baths, recovery and exercise and stuff like that. It's really popular. Also, sporting equipment is really popular. Outdoor equipment, furniture and home fixtures, things like that. Anything that you find around like a rich person's pimped out mansion, things like that are going to be really good for high-ticket dropshipping. So if you're having trouble coming up with product ideas, just go on Google Images and search like products that people have in expensive mansions, and you'll see things like pergolas and outdoor furniture sets, outdoor kitchens, grills. Inside the house, you might see electric fireplaces, really nice, furniture, dining room tables, big, large home appliances, refrigerators, ranges, range hoods, air conditioning systems. There's just tons of stuff around the home that you can dropship, that there are dropship stuff available. And I have a ton of videos of niche research showing how to find the competitors that are doing the dropshipping already, how to find the brands that they sell that are dropshipping suppliers, and then how to determine whether a niche is a good idea to get into, and whether it's good for you or not. And usually you just determine that by your skills and experience. And you can get into any niche, but the more skills and experience you have with it, the better you're going to be at understanding the pain points of the consumer. So you can do a better job at problem solution, solving problems. Better job at copywriting and sales and all that stuff, and also a better job at customer support. And then, obviously you're going to do a better job, all around with your website, your branding, the color choices, the graphic choices, all that stuff, because you just understand the needs of that consumer. And then on the back end, developing relationships, like I was saying, you're going to do so much better. So just choose a niche that you have some experience already with. It gives you kind of an upper hand, in competing in that niche. If you choose something you don't have any experience with, it's going to kind of show in, when you talk to suppliers to begin with, they're going to realize you don't really know what you're doing, and that sucks. So, at the bare minimum, please, if you're going to choose something you don't have any experience with, at least learn about it first before you dive into it. Just like do a bunch of research and figure it out, okay? Now let's talk about finances, because with high-ticket dropshipping, I was talking about the finances a little bit earlier, but it's really important in the beginning that you have some money available for this business startup. Now it's a low-cost business startup. That doesn't mean you don't need any money. It means you do need some money. You're going to need probably about $1,000 to get started. That's going to include all your software expenses, startup expenses, maybe less these days because you can use AI for a lot of stuff. You don't need to hire freelancers so much anymore. AI like ChatGPT can make really good graphics, but you're still going to need freelancers, especially if you want things done in a professional way. You're going to want to get some freelancers to help you, and Fiverr is a great resource for that. And just straight up human beings you can talk to, because sometimes ChatGPT doesn't really respond correctly and stuff. So I use for content nowadays, I use Claude and Koala Writer. Those are really good. Manus as well. So these other AI agents that aren't ChatGPT are actually a lot better at certain things than ChatGPT is, like content, for example. But yeah, so because of that, the startup costs are quite a bit lower, but still you're gonna need some money, because some suppliers are gonna want you to put in an upfront order to secure the dealer agreement with them. That just kind of proves to them that you're a real business, that you're not just some scammer. And so just keep that in mind. The best way to do it is just to have, start with a good credit score and have some business credit cards available. You're gonna need to, you can start as a sole proprietor, but it's a good idea to get an LLC. An LLC is just going to make you a more professional business. You can get a DUNS number, which is Dun and Bradstreet number, which is going to secure your business credit line and give you good business credit. You're going to get an EIN number. That's from the IRS. That's for filing your business taxes. You can be taxed passed through as a sole proprietor with an LLC, so it's very easy to do your taxes that way. So that's what I would recommend if you're by yourself. If you're in a partnership, obviously you have to figure that out with your partner. Things could be more complicated. Obviously depending on what state you live in, also that's going to change things too. But regardless of that, it's really easy to just be able to set up a business. Once you have your LLC and EIN, you just go and set up a business checking account at your local bank, whether it be Chase or Wells Fargo. You can do online banks as well, like American Express and Capital One. Those are really good. And then those business credit cards are great. You get the ones with sign-up bonuses and points. Those are the best ones to get. I would say the Chase Inc. line is really good. Capital One has some great ones, and American Express has some great ones as well. And lots of other banks offer good credit cards too. So and then beyond that, you're going to need to get seller's permits. Seller's permits and sales tax is quite complicated these days, but mainly every state has a sales tax threshold, and you just got to get a seller's permit in the state that you're domiciled in, where you live. And if you're a digital nomad and you don't live anywhere, wherever you happen to have your ID in, or you establish your business in, that's the state. Now it's more complicated now because Wyoming, they require physical residence in order to get a seller's permit. So South Dakota now, is the place to go for digital nomads, but things are changing. So just if you want to do business in the US, really the bottom line is you've got to have a physical residence somewhere. So go and rent an apartment, a cheap apartment in South Dakota somewhere, or Wyoming. Get a physical residence so you can run your business out of that place. You can even rent just probably a small office or something to do it, and you don't have to get a whole apartment. But that's the main thing. So after all that, you can set up your business. Start Shopify. Shopify is the best e-commerce platform to use. Shopify is super easy, and lots of suppliers like using it as well. They can link to it through Shopify Collective. So if you want a free trial of Shopify, go check out ecommerceparadise.com/Shopify. You'll get a free trial there, and it's really cheap. For your first 3 months, it's only $1 a month. So you get 3 months to just build, and then you can launch, and it's only $40 a month after that. So Shopify is the best platform for that. We have a lot of other resources here on the YouTube channel and at ecommerceparadise.com on the blog for apps and other stuff like that. So definitely check that out, guys. If you have any questions about high-ticket dropshipping and want some help, you can book a free coaching call with me, or discovery call, excuse me. You go to ecommerceparadise.com and go up to coaching. You can go down and see the options there. I provide private coaching, but I'll just answer any questions in the comments below. If you have any questions and you want to work with me directly, I have done for you services as well, a turnkey business build and launch service. Go check that out, ecommerceparadise.com/turnkey, where we build your entire business for you and launch it, and then you take it from there and you do the sales. And then after that, we can do ongoing services, scaling services, but most specifically e-commerce SEO services, where we focus, especially for already established stores and brands. So if you want more information on our e-commerce SEO services for free organic traffic, go to ecommerceparadise.com/SEO. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly, Trevor at ecommerceparadise.com. I'll be happy to help. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.